Hello, how are you doing? I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone right now. So I'm cleaning the house. I'm sorry if you hear a lot of weird movements that have nothing to do with this video that you're watching of me doing my makeup because I was wondering, I took a video of me getting ready. Oh, by the way, in this video, I'm getting ready for an event that I was invited to by a friend, a silent disco. I will try and enter snippets of it at the end or during or whatever. But yeah, I'm getting ready to go there. I'm running late and I need to get my makeup and hair done. I didn't get my hair done, I just did my makeup and left, by the way. But the audio is a separate recording from a separate day and I'm moving around the house, so I'm sorry about that. Anyway, so I had this great idea. So I was thinking, so as I was saying, I'm sorry, so many souls. So. What am I going to talk about? And I wanted to talk about what would I have done, what I would have done, English, what I would have done differently, what would have I done differently? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So, I'm a single mom. Let's backtrack a bit. I'm a single mom of two beautiful, lovely, opinionated girls. I love them. They're so opinionated. They will tell you whatever is on their mind. They don't care. I love it. I love it for them. I love it for them. Um, I love those girls. I'm their single mom, and I have been doing this for 8 years now. 8 years. Yes. And I think some people that personally know me would argue that it was not exactly 8 years because maybe 2 years out of those years I was living with their dad. However, I would argue and still say it felt like pretty much being a single mom. And anyway, so the topic right now is me talking about how, how I would have done this differently and my regrets, my mistakes, maybe what's the plan forward from now on, moving forward. And I don't have one. Actually, yeah, maybe I do. I don't. What else? Hmm. Yes, what would have I done differently, and what I wish people would have told me, my mom, my friends, in the midst of the pain. I'm very stubborn, I get it, but if you tell me the truth and show me the evidence without being scared of stepping on my toes, I feel like that would have been a lot more helpful. And yes, approach is very important. I get it. How you approach situations like this is very important, very delicate too. But I think it would have been helpful. I know one person in my life who really, really tried, and I appreciate her for it. And I see her for it now, for what it was and what she was trying to do. Her approach was a little bit harsh, though. Jeez, I was way too young for such a harsh approach. Now she can approach me in that way, and I wouldn't take it personally because I have done so much inner work and I have taken accountability and responsibility for my actions without blaming anybody else. you know, I'm a different person. I'm grown now. At that time, I was not grown at all. At all. I was still a baby and very much hurt and in pain and crying and not knowing what the fuck is going on. Anyway, okay, so that I'm a single mom. Been doing this for a very long time. And yeah, I had my first child when I was 23, just after I've graduated doing my first job. I had my baby. So I need to wash these things. Sorry, I'm making my bed. I don't know about you guys, I find it easier to talk to myself when I'm moving around in the house rather than just sitting. If I'm sitting down, my mind just wanders everywhere. And then I'm like, okay, what was I saying again? Anywho, yes. So I had my first little baby girl, and what happened? Yes. And when she was 4, I had the second kid, another baby girl. So how would I have done this whole thing differently? I wish that two options. There's two options that I wish I two options that would have worked out for me regardless. It's either I should have waited, I should have gotten married first. And here's the kicker in that. Oh, and here's the kicker in that. I mean, girl, you having sex and you what the hell? What do you mean? Anyway, so I didn't do that. Either that or I should have waited a bit longer to have the baby. It still says the kicker like, go, but go, you were sexually active, not using protection. What the fuck? Of course you're gonna get pregnant. Ha 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 ha. So here's an observation, and I think everybody's gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm sorry. This is my opinion, and this is about me and my regrets, and this is what I have observed. And if you feel different, you feel different, and you're more than welcome to argue. And I will agree with you because that's your view. However, this is my view. So I have observed that online, this is just online, women in my situation refuse to take accountability and responsibility of their actions. And I totally get it. I was once at that point where I felt that it was his responsibility and why he did this to me. Whether he did this to you, you willingly participated in this did this to you thing. Okay? Yes. Let's start off with that. That's point number one. And that reflected in our relationship. I hated this person for so long. And not because I hated him, because I was angry at myself because I allowed this to happen. And it was a very hard truth for me to swallow and to face. It took me very long and I couldn't admit it to anyone else. But only I knew why I felt this way because how the voice in my head kept saying, how could you be this stupid? How could you let this happen? So this is so stupid. Are you better than this? Why did you do this? So you get, you see, so that reflected in our relationship in a very, very bad way. Number one. And so yeah, that's what I've witnessed with women in my situation. We really, really struggle to be honest about our actions, and then we take it out on the other person. Whereas had we taken responsibility of our bodies, of our actions, and whoever it is that we sleep with and have a baby with, that's on us. It's your body. You have every right to say no. You have every right to say yes. And you know exactly what happens when you have unprotected sex. A baby happens. So that's what happened, girl. In the story. The kicker is that I did it twice. I went back and had another baby with the same person I had a problem with. Now, I don't know if that makes me, I don't know. Hey, that, yeah. So you can see how much work I have had to have done and gone through up to be here now, having this conversation with you, openly and honestly sharing my mistakes and my youth mistakes. So, and I wish, like I said, there was somebody who was honest about this with me, and she was asking all the relevant questions to both him and I, and he was so defensive. I didn't see anything wrong with the questions. I'm like, yeah, but she's right, because I was asking the same questions as well, and but I was labeled and painted with words like gold digger. I love money. I'm like, who doesn't love money? I mean, it buys you food. At some point, you gotta actually have some form of lucrative, helpful, beautiful relationship with this thing that makes sure your needs are sorted, right? Hello. Yeah, no, I like my life comfortable. Thank you very much. But anyway, so it's situations like that. So I wish, and this touches on a lot of things. So I wish I was, it was ingrained in me to not do that. And a part of me thinks that happened because my mom made the same mistake. And instead of her correcting it with me and teaching me otherwise and telling me, hey, I made a mistake, da da da, I don't, maybe she doesn't see it as her making a mistake. I think it's a big mistake because I personally don't believe in this. And seeing that she and I grew up in the same household, her parents' household, it's like weird that we have two different beliefs. But anyway, it's a topic for another day. And I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. It's just having different views. So me having a, an observation of two different people Whereas it's like, and I was very hyper aware of the fact that I don't want to make the same mistake my mom made, and yet I did it. I already knew from that moment. And when I was pregnant, I was like beating myself up. Like she had me when she was 22. I had my eldest at 23. You see how much that looks like already a pattern trying to form itself. And I'm really, really spiritually breaking that pattern. I'm constantly breaking that pattern. I'm already having conversations with my kids about like, don't. If you want to have kids, get married first. Vet. We're already having these conversations. I'm like, I'm playing no scrubs for my kids at this point because I'm really trying to be proactive in this situation and not reactive. So yeah, that's that. So I wish that, or her mom, my grandma who raised me, I wish she was very much involved in teaching me how to deal with the opposite gender and relationships in general. I wish she was more, but I feel like I see her wounds now, and I understand why she wasn't that involved in that aspect. And I'm like, you wouldn't have stunted me, you wouldn't have blocked me, you would have shown me a different view. And I respect her knowledge and her as a woman. And I listened to her teachings. Like her teachings probably made me who I am today. So yeah, I wish she was very vocal about her thoughts and her opinions in situations like that. My mom, not so much. We have very different beliefs. Very, very different beliefs. She's very liberal, actually, weird enough, and I'm not that liberal. I'm a mix. I'm a bit of. I'm in between. I'm a mix. And yes, so I wish I was taught that. So the two options in that situation is that please just stay protected while you're having sex and just avoid having a baby altogether, because not all of us believe in waiting for marriage to have sex. I think that I should have been taught to wait for marriage to have sex, or wait until I was old enough to vet a guy properly to have sex. And then I would have avoided a lot of issues. And secondly is to vet the person you're going to have kids with, and they definitely have to marry you. They have to propose and marry you and show you proof that they're ready to provide for you and your kids. Because yes, I am very traditional in that aspect, in a sense that I think a man should be able to at least hold down a house for his wife and kids, because at the end of the day, you're the one that gets to be pregnant and stay at home and have all these other situations come up while you're pregnant. You could even die. So, what is he going to do in situations like that? Does he have a plan, and does he already have a place, something in place for everybody? You know, in my situation, I was the breadwinner. You can imagine how stressful that is. We all know how stressful that is. If you're a single mom and you're listening to this, you know how very stressful it is to plan your maternity leave, and it's just you and you alone taking care of this maternity leave, the bills, the school fees, the rent, the car, the food, everything, and the baby at home with you all day, every day. So, yeah, great choice. So, you did a fantastic choice. You can see how much I was in resentment era at that time. I was just full of resentment. Beyonce resentment was playing every day. um, exact. So you see now, if had I made those just two different choices in either situation, would have set me up in a different trajectory. And I'm not saying that once you're married, like again, the only reason I'm here is because I watched Mina from the Universe Guru, and she said she had a similar situation, but she was married. So she did something right. She got married and then had the kid. You see, she waited, got married, and then had the kid, but still ended up with a shitty bargain. But in the same, she was also a breadwinner. This is according to her. You can check on her page. And she was also a bread. I was a breadwinner, not married, and pregnant twice. Same situation, girl, nightmare. And not the reason I say this is because it's not healthy. I saw how unhealthy it was for me as a woman. We are soft creatures as much as we like being strong, and I hate that word. No, we're delicate. We are very delicate and we're very soft. And when this person who's living with you in the house expects you to be delicate and soft while you are out there working 8, 10 hours a day, bringing home the bacon, basically doing all the masculine work. How many hours we have in a day? Let's say 10 hours out of 12. Is daylight 12 hours more than 12? Maybe it depends. In Cape Town, sometimes it's longer than that. Let's say 10 out of 10 hours in a day, more than that, because when you get home, you still get, well, he made dinner. He made all the dinners because this was the point where I was just like, fuck you, do something, anything, and I'm not cooking. You see those things, but you are literally being, you are pulling on your masculine energy almost all the time, curating the finances of the house, creating all these all these structures. It's very masculine. And then the person expects you to be delicate and soft. You're not gonna get that. No, you're not gonna get a delicate and soft woman in a situation like that. You're gonna get a woman that's wearing the pants, who's the man. And I've been called that before a lot of times, and I'm like, well, my life kind of calls for it. The situation calls for it. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to not be the man right now when I'm required to be the man, basically. So my life is requiring me to be very masculine right now, unfortunately. And I have to work very hard to incorporate my femininity every day. And on days that where I can relax, I have to force myself to relax today. So those two choices would have made a huge difference in my life. So going back, so it just don't have a baby with a person that, and I know it makes it sound like we're gold diggers and materialistic. We live in a materialistic world. We live in a world where we use our eyes. If sex is materialistic, so if you want to, I mean, guys, please, let's not even go there. We live in a very materialistic world. So get married, save yourself. Then don't just get married. Please just vet the person and use everybody around you to help you vet this person. And since yeah, I've only like been there's only a few people that I dated after I broke up with him. They're very different. They're very different. They're more masculine and more provider. They lean into the provider type like situation, and then yeah. But clearly, I've like so I've taken so long because I had to heal a lot of my masculinity, toxic masculinity as a woman. It's not only in men, guys, we also have it. And yeah, I lost my train of thought. Yes, and in that aspect, I've also relied on my support group and people that I know to bounce off ideas and speak about the people that I'm seeing. Like, okay, this is the guy I want to do. What do you think? This is how it's did. I'm relying a lot on people around me to help me vet because me and me alone clearly we have blind spots. So I have to ask other people to check with me and for me. And yeah, like back in the days, the person that I trusted, it like I said, I was very wounded. It was hard. Her delivery was very harsh for me at the time, and I couldn't receive the information. I had to go through the pain, the trauma, the separation. I had to go through a lot of things to see that as is. I had to look at myself and say, "You did this. You allowed this," and it's the first step that will free you from a lot of nonsense. You'll forgive yourself, and you won't even care about how you feel about the other guy because you realize that the power is in your hands. It has always been in your hands. And women want we it's guys, it's our responsibility. As much as it sucks to hear this, it's it's on us, not on him, not on the guys. It's on us. We choose which man gets to have a baby, which man gets to procreate. And you're like, but it takes two to tango. Yeah, he asks you first. You get to say yes or no. He doesn't just come and take that. The one that does that is an animal and deserves to be going thrown into jail and have his genitals cut off. I'm sorry, I'm that barbaric. But he has to ask you first and you say yes. So in that aspect, I feel like had I had a very sexual liberating conversation with my mom or my grandma, that would have probably never happened. Old people don't talk about sex in that aspect. Like, listen, find a man that's going to be able to take care of you and your kids. And honestly, I don't regret having them young. If anything, I would have probably done that, but I would have gotten married first. Because I think it was the perfect age to have them. The situation just did not provide me that freedom in a way where I would enjoy my babies. Thank God COVID happened. I got to enjoy my second baby because I had to stay home with her for a year and it was amazing. But yes, and people like young parents this. I'm like, no, 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 no. Not young parents this. In a place where a woman is safe and she's catered to and cared for. And also, I would no, a different topic would be me talking about how it would be easier to live closer to your parents or his parents and have a community of people helping you raise the kids. That would be very ideal. But in a situation where a woman can relax and not worry about paying bills and just worry about nurturing her youngings, nurturing the baby, even if you have to take care of the home, it's fine. Your responsibilities right now are raising this child. Can you imagine how much energy you will pour in? It's just raising this child and being a wife. I mean, now you're raising a child, being a wife, being an employer, a manager. Oh God, never mind. You're gonna one of them is gonna have to fall at some point. Because if you just have to be a mom and a wife, I don't even know what to say. I think that makes it much more easier. Don't you think? Please let me know what you think. But anyway, that's what I feel like I would have loved to have happened differently. I would have loved to have known what I know now. And the weird part is that I knew I didn't want to marry this person then. But I still went ahead and had kids with him. Stupid girl. It's like a Kiki Palmer and her baby daddy situation. A classic Virgo situation where they meet a person and they think they could just turn them into Captain America. Falling in love with potential. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I feel like, yeah, if you are taught these things from a young age, don't fall in love with potential. Be very careful because your mind is very impressionable at this stage in time and age. And whatever dreams that somebody sells you, you are going to eat them up and they're going to bite you in the butt. You know, if my friends had said, girl, what are you doing with this Dusty? Leave him alone. Girl, go away. Hello. I'm looking at you, friends. Y'all were there. I'm looking at you, friends. But now, I hope as I'm sharing this, it's a learning situation, and it's definitely something I've always wanted to share with the youth or people around me. And I think I didn't even think of you doing it in this manner because yeah, I didn't even think of doing it in this manner. So here it is, what I would have done differently, and I'm probably going to expand more on this topic going forward, and hopefully, a lot of us will take accountability and responsibility for our actions, and it'll help release us from the pain. We're able to forgive ourselves and see things a bit more objectively and not take everything personal. It shouldn't, you don't even take it personal. Unfortunately, we were not taught how to navigate this side of life. We were told to study, work hard, and go to school, and somehow magically find a husband. We were not even told how to look for this husband. What does this husband supposed to look like? What is he supposed to do? Like, I've always asked for a manual on life, and this is what we're supposed to get from our parents. And most of us didn't get that, and those that did kept it to themselves and they never shared it. Please, guys, just share the secrets. I'm very much grateful to Mina and Shira Even though people say Shira is teaching gold digging, I'm here for it because I know friends that were dating people with monies, and I always ask them like, "Girl, how do you do this? Because I don't know how to do this. Please teach me." I'm I'm definitely very aware that my choice of men is well was against me. Now that has changed greatly, and I'm grateful that I did learn and I have changed. And I know that I'm in a very disadvantageous situation, so I have to be. I'm hyper aware. I'm looking. Oh yes, what are we gonna do now moving forward? I have a dating plan. I'm obviously not gonna be dating the way I used to in my 20s now that I'm 31, and I don't believe in love anymore. And that, yeah, I will extrapolate on that some other time. I don't believe in the love that we got sold on TV. I don't think that's wise. That is not wise. We need to use our brains. We need to be very intentional and wise about who we choose based on track record. That's how you get hired, that's how you get a job, that's how you get merits in life. You look at your track record in life. We look at your history, your family history. We look at a lot of things to look for this husband. That's how our grandmothers got married. The weirdest part, when I remember when I said my mom is the only one in all her siblings, the female ones, I think the male ones too, who had a child out of wedlock. Me. And then after me, she got married, and after me she fixed her mistake, got married, and but she didn't teach me to fix my to, I mean, like, girl, why did it? Why? Why didn't you teach me to get married and do this after being married? I know that your second husband was a bomb too, but listen, you noticed that you made a mistake. You got married after, but you could have done it again. I don't know. I don't know. So now I'm teaching my kids not to, like, sweetie, get married, please. Save us the embarrassment and the time. And this is how you're gonna look for a husband. One, two, three, four, five. We don't want you to struggle. You're not meant to struggle. There is actually a blueprint of how to go about this. You know, it's not for your, it's for your betterment. It's for your life to be smooth and for a good trajectory to succeed. My grandma was a spoiled woman. She stayed at home, had babies. She was taken care of through and through. Even though I think she was not exactly happy. Those older ones are a little bit different. But listen, she had no stress. There was a roof on her head every day. There was food. She lacked for nothing. If anything else, all she needed to do was do inner work. That's all she had to worry about. Just inner work. Inner work, be zen, vibrate higher. I just think she was holding on to a lot of resentment that all she had to do was just find a way to let it out and talk about it. But yeah, people in those days there was a lot of taboo things. So, but outside of that, I think girl was living the life. That's it. That's what I think. So I'm like, that's what I want for me. Why didn't anyone teach me that? Anywho, um, I think that concludes my rant. I think that concludes my opinions and thoughts about this whole situation. And I hope we are going to hold each other's hands from this point moving forward and keeping each other accountable and being proud. I think it's something that women should be proud of instead of shaming each other for it. There's other things we can shame each other for kids out of wedlock so that we can act right. It's time for us to act right. Let's just act right. You can't shame me now because I know what I did wrong, and I'm definitely very aware of it, and I'm trying to do something about it. So, and I'm doing all that there is to do to stop both my kids from following in my footsteps. I'm teaching them differently, and I'm starting now. And I don't want anything to be a taboo in the house. We're already talking about a lot of things. So because when that time comes with my kids, I just don't. I want it to be an open conversation, and they get to learn and they get to see, and I get to tell them it's not. I used to think marriage is a prison. I'm not even, I don't have those thoughts anymore. I see it as liberation. Oh my God, epiphany. I see it now as liberation, and had I been taught that differently from a long time ago, I would have set myself up for success. As a young computer science graduate with with a baby girl and a beautiful dashing husband providing for us, maybe I would have created like a beautiful career out of that by now. Now that I'm in my 30s, my kids are both grown. Can you see how now the career is kicking off? And I could still choose to do my career by now because the kids are both grown. My youngest is turning 5 next in January. Like I see a different life now for me, and I'm hoping to create that for myself moving forward. And this has been great. It's been lovely being honest, open, and raw. And I hope this message inspires some of you. And please let me know what topic you would like for me to cover next in such personal topic. I think the next topic I would cover is what I was talking about, my mom and the generational, the pattern mistakes. I think I'll cover that. Maybe I'll think about cover that next and cover my action, my resentment. Or you know, mm, mm, my words. Let's say in relation to law of attraction, law of assumption, how all these things tie in together, and spirituality in general. I think that would be a very interesting topic. But thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much for being here with me. I hope this voice note matches the length of the video. Thank you very much for being here with me. This was very. I love topics like this. It's just like the other one that I was talking about, where the manifestation one. Yeah, I think I love topics like this. This is very, very beautiful. I hope you enjoy the rest of the week, wherever you may be. Until the next video, take care.